What's up, Aaron?
What's up, bro?
So, dude, we're here. We're excited, not really.
But sad. Excited would not be the word I would use for this, but we're here.
So this is going to be what we are calling the Wing Gauntlet. And so what we're going to do is we're going to walk through your testimony and how you stay hungry for the Lord. But each question, the wings are going to get progressively hotter. And hotter wings, hotter questions. So, yeah.
So we're going to die.
Yeah, for sure. We got milk on standby, paper towels. I heard peanut butter works. I got yogurt.
Fully prepared for whatever could happen.
I took all the precautions. Maybe. So, yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself, dude.
Well, I watched my parents die. I was raised by my butler. I'm scared of bats. Some people call me Bruce Wayne.
Wow.
So that's it. That's my life story. No, I'm just joking. I'm not Batman. But I moved around a lot as a kid, but I still call Bloomfield home. Me and my wife now live here. I'm happily married. We got 2 little boys, Axel and Archer. I'm the youth pastor here at the Assembly. I work at FedEx. Basketball fanatic. And just really excited about everything we got going on. I feel not even just here at the Assembly, but what God's doing in our whole area. I feel like God's really doing a lot of big things. I'm just excited about life.
Yeah, dude, man, the Lord is so good.
Yep.
I've been in prayer, like, consciously and subconsciously about this because I know He's going to have to be with us as we go through this.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, let's start it. Let's start the first one. So the first one is just a buffalo sauce. The Scoville units is 1,800. Yeah, that's it right there.
I don't even know what that means.
This is what it says. Buffalo is back, baby. Hot ones. So I'm like, all right,
cool.
So yeah, let's get into it.
Oh my God, I'm so scared. That actually tastes pretty good.
That's actually, yeah, that's a really good sauce right there.
Either heat slower. This one ain't too bad. Which is a starter.
It's a starter. So we got cayenne pepper mashed, red cayenne, distilled vinegar, some butter, bell pepper. This is pretty good.
Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah, I like it. Not too bad. So, the theme for this year, stay hungry, right?
Yep.
So, can you define, like, what stay hungry means to you?
Just like in general?
Yeah, just like looking at this, even Matthew 5:6 with that verse in mind, like, what does stay hungry mean to you?
Well, I think especially if we're talking about God and everything, staying hungry means you're always seeking Him. Like, you're staying hungry for the things of God. Like, always reading and praying and spending those time. I remember, I think it was Joe Bridges, maybe one of those guys. We're talking about, they have an alarm on their phone that goes off at the beginning of every hour or something like that. And in that, they spend 5 minutes of their day every hour with God. Even at work, whatever, they stop what they're doing and they spend time with God. And so I think the same thing, like, we're making conscious decisions to say, okay, God, I'm going to spend time with you more and more and more. And as we stay hungry, I think that's more of us making opportunities to spend more time with God and to see God move in our lives and, just doing what God's called us to do. So always seeking Him out. I think if we're doing those, we're staying hungry as long as we're always constantly seeking Him.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are some things that you do in your daily life that helps you to stay hungry?
One of the biggest things, I think, is friendships. Like for you, for instance, we're always texting, always talking about gospel. Well, that's not all we talk about, but we do talk quite a bit about it. Having friends that push you towards the gospel, I think that really helps. And just making that decision, because I know when I'm in bed at night, I'm ready to go to sleep. I don't want to do anything else. I want to go to sleep. But making that decision when I don't want to do those things to say, okay, God, I'm going to read my Bible. I'm going to do a devotional. I'm going to read one of the 300 books I got that my wife makes fun of me because I haven't read yet. But doing those things is something I do, and throughout the day, especially when I'm driving, I'm always spending time, like, randomly throughout the day praying, like, God, what do you want me to do today? What's something on your mind today, God? Just always trying to be conscious of those decisions. Because if we're honest, we don't always want to do those things, but we kind of force ourselves to. God always honors that, and He's going to be there and show up.
Yeah, absolutely. So like, let's dive into one more wing. We're going to, this is Funky's, right?
Yeah,
This is Funky's Hot Sauce Factory Stellar Fuzz. It is 19,000 Scoville units. So we went from 1,800 to 19,000. So we didn't think that through, but that's okay.
We're going to do it.
Yeah, let's just get,
Let's decide together.
immediately sweet. Mm-hmm. It's heating up.
I do like so far.
I like it,
It takes
though.
them a moment.
Yeah. This is garlic habanero with a hint of a ginger. I didn't know you were in the sauce.
And that's me. Hey, and you said sweet? That's definitely me.
That's God, baby. Okay, yeah. But it is heating up. I feel it. Nothing too
I'm
crazy.
thankful for the first two.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. We're doing it. I do feel it, though.
Here's the thing is, people don't know, we're both pansies.
Yeah, I'm not very
We're doing
good.
the hot sauce, so it's even funnier.
I'm not very good. Yeah, that's hit me. Okay, so can you share like a pivotal moment, or maybe even like just an experience that you had that strengthened your faith and deepened your hunger? So like, there's two kind of questions in there. Like, what was the first moment, and then now, is there a more recent moment?
One of my favorite memories, I think, there's two big memories I can think of that I really love the most. One is when I gave my heart to Jesus. I didn't know Jesus for 22 years of my life. So I gave my heart when I was 22, and I still remember that day. I was laying on the floor crying, like calling out, like, God, I don't know if you're real or not, but if you are, will you show up? Like, I need something different. And God's just awesome.
Yeah.
And back then I didn't understand all the things God was doing, but I look back and I'm like, God really showed up in that moment when I needed Him to. So I always think, one, just the beginning of the faith was pivotal and obviously everything, because He started changing my life completely around. And then two, so I was serving just because you come to church and you feel God's call in your life, but you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so I was serving all these different places in church trying to figure out what I was supposed to be doing because I had no idea. But I started serving in the youth. Natasha was the youth pastor at the time when this happened. And we went to camp, maybe. Yes, it was camp up there.
Camp Allen?
Yeah, no. Where we go for our men's thing every year.
Sammy Baker.
No. It's got the big cross, and we were just
Gallatin.
there. You just made that up. That's not even a real place. Cross Point.
Cross Point.
There we
So
go.
close.
Pretty much the same thing.
You said 50% of the name earlier.
Yeah, so you're welcome for that. But so we go there, and the first couple nights were awesome. God was moving, but that third night, I think it was, I don't know if there was an empty seat of teenagers that went to the altar. I don't think there was any in their seats. I think every one of them went to the altar. And I remember just sitting there watching that and thinking, I felt like God really spoke to me. I was like, hey, Aaron, this is where I want you. You've been waiting for a call, but this is what I've called you to do. And ever since then, it's been pivotal to be even more like, I got to get closer to Jesus because He wants me to help these teenagers. And I know I suck without Him. And so I really got to get more hungry than I already am. I got to seek God more than I am because He's called me to a higher standard to do those things. So
I think Paul talks about how we should live spotless lives.
Yeah.
And so that's just the call.
Yeah, it's like you want to be that anyways, but then when you find your calling, like you want to honor God even more. Because then you're like, okay, well, He's called me to do something.
Yeah.
Like no matter what that is, I mean, you can clean toilets, but if God's called you to do it, Dwight always talks about do those things with integrity.
Yeah.
So.
Do it as if you're serving the Lord directly.
Yeah.
And then back half of that question, is there a more recent moment that's kind of pushed you into a...
I think there's little moments here and there. I think the biggest thing is the group of teenagers we have right now. Well, I got two, really. I wanted to pick on two. One of them's the teenagers we have now. We've got over the last 2 years, maybe last year at least. Dude, they just, it's not just you're coming to church because your parents make you come to church. Like these kids want to come to church. How many times we went to your house or my house in the past year because they weren't having Sunday nights here at church.
Yeah.
So we'd go to one of our houses because they wanted to have Sunday night church.
Yep.
And so like, I think that kind of ignites a fire. Like it gets you excited because this is what you want to do. This is what your passion is. And then they have the same passion. So it just, that one of those things, I feel like this last year has been probably one of our best years for that.
Yeah.
And second, we went to Encounter Night. When was that?
It was last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
So those are my two recent. Just getting out of my comfort zone. And Tyler Feller, your youth pastor when you was a teenager.
Yeah.
He's just super awesome. Being around him and his environment and all the things that he does and his courage, like his faith, like he doesn't care who's there. Like he's him and he's going to be who God's called him to be no matter what. So seeing that, especially knowing him and being around him and knowing that he doesn't care, you like him or not, he's going to share the gospel. And so that's so encouraging. Yeah. And it really makes you want to be better.
Yeah. I've noticed in this topic, like hungry people make hungry people. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like just seeing someone so hungry for the Lord, like it questions my appetite. Like, okay, like what am I doing here? Like, am I stagnant?
Yeah. One of my favorite things is you see someone new to faith come. And like that, especially like when God starts really taking those blinders off and they're just so excited about everything. They're all over the place sometimes, which is, it's all right. But like that excitement is just, it's like, man, that re-ups you even more like, oh man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
that first love.
Yep.
So let's take another wing. Right. We're going to, what's this bad boy called? Queso Sin.
Maybe not the best choice.
That's okay. You know? Jesus paid it all.
He did.
Amen. He's going to pay for this sin too.
What's the skulls on this?
Yeah, so the Scoville unit is 52,000.
So we went from 19.
So yeah, we went from 19,000. We did this in theory, like we'll just skip.
We'll just skip one.
We didn't think it through. But yeah, 52,000, and let's take a bite.
All right. If we die, we die.
Immediately, I taste the pepper. Like it's not hot immediately.
Yeah.
But
it's got a good taste though to it, for real.
I feel like my wife would love this one because it tastes like queso dip.
It really does.
I'm trying to look for ingredients.
I love it, but it
here.
also sucks that it's like slow, and then when it starts hitting, it's like boom, 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 boom.
Okay. This is the ingredients here? Yeah, okay. Onions, vinegar, red bell pepper, habanero, water, ghost pepper powder as well. It's heating up.
Yeah.
I feel it. Still not crazy though.
No, I'm nervous. This is
the last half.
When we get here, that's when I get nervous. I think this one's gonna be a little hot, but I think once we get to this one,
wow,
we might be in some trouble.
Okay. I feel it though.
Yeah, I guess
I feel it. I feel it.
That's
All
what
right.
I'm saying. We're halfway.
Yeah, we're halfway through the gauntlet.
It's already hot.
We're 52,000 Scoville units in.
I think for the record though, are you gonna always do 6?
Nope, we're gonna do all of them.
So
we're gonna
when
do
you
12
actually
of
do the
them.
thing for the men's, you're doing all 12.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
So there's a whole lot in
I'm
between.
just glad you have to do this every time.
I know. Praise God, dude. Okay, so took another wing, so I'm gonna turn the heat up just a little bit. So has there been any specific challenges, obstacles along your journey that have really tested your faith and like maybe even seasons of doubt would come and sink in?
I think I got a lot to say to that actually. So early on, it was, I don't know what a Christian is. So I'm learning as I go. Like a lot of people when I talk about it, my first 2 years of being a Christian, I believed in Jesus, but I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know, you can't do this. I didn't know everything. So like the first 2 years was super hard because I was trying to learn and change and do all these things while also my old life I was fighting with it just because it's all I ever known. It's all I ever known.
Yeah.
And so I think that was really hard, challenging, especially. And the later on it came more to, I know who I am, especially without Jesus. I know my failures. I know those things. So a lot of doubt comes in. Like, could God really use me? You know what I mean? Like, I know me and you've had this conversation a lot. Like, that's one of the things that has challenged me so many times is God really going to use someone like me? I was never really the most popular person. I was never the most athletic. I was never the most any of these things. And so to be in the forefront of something, it's like, okay, God, are you really going to use me? And so I think there was a lot of doubt in there. And challenge is just another challenge. Like when I took this over 4 months before COVID.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was doing. And then COVID hits, and we're trying to do the FaceTime videos or whatever. I mean, you was a part of it with me. And that, I mean, I feel like both of us really felt like that was a big challenge and hurdle we had to go over. And you just lost kids in that, so that was challenging altogether.
Yeah.
But,
COVID is a weird season for all of us. It was such a weird season.
So weird. And then, when I was managing all 3 companies at FedEx, that was so challenging to, bundle all that, bundle the church stuff, bundle my home life, trying to be great at all 3. It seemed impossible and challenging, and that was a season that.
Yeah, from someone that was like on the backside of that, like someone that's used to talking to you all the time, there was like moments where you just didn't exist.
Yeah.
And so like that put a strain on a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And so like, I think now I'm in a really good place.
Yeah.
But leading up to that, I mean, we had so many challenges. Luckily, you had to be with me this whole time. But I feel like I don't think you ever really figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think we're headed the right direction. We pretty much went into this saying, Lord, we don't know what we're doing. Help.
Yeah.
And He's really just showed up. I really think He has. And I think that's pretty. Those are pretty much the challenges. Like when self-doubt, I don't know if I'll ever completely. If the Lord wants to take it from me, the Lord can take it from me. I understand that. But I think there's that humbling side of me that's like, I know I'm not going to be able to do this without Jesus.
Yeah.
I just know.
Absolutely. Can you just emphasize a little bit on how you pushed through those difficult seasons? Like they came in, things got rocky, and how, like, what was some defining factors that helped you stabilize and push through onto the other side?
I think 3 things. 1, God. Like I said, at nighttime or early in the morning or randomly throughout my day, giving Him that extra little time gives you the strength to keep going. Because I always think about my parents. Like, I don't know how they did life for however long they've been alive without Jesus, because it's tough. But I think God was the forefront of that. Like, making Him the foundation of my life makes those things easier, even though it's hard and it's challenging. But I know He's with me through those, and He's going to see me through it. The second thing is my wife. My wife is a rock star. Anyone that knows my wife, I don't know how she does all that she does, but she literally is the best at everything. Like, she drives me nuts sometimes. She's loud, but she's seriously, like, I don't know how I couldn't have got through all of it without her support. And then honestly, if I couldn't make it to church or something was going on and I need somebody to step up, you always stepped up and took that challenge. And so having people, like, obviously God number one, because He really did. He handles my emotions better than anyone else. He sees it and He deals with it better than anybody. But having you and my wife in my corner and having those people that, one, are making you hungry, stay hungry for God, but also supporting you in your times of challenge, I think that's what gets you through all of it.
Yeah, and it's so important. It's one of the things that I talk about a lot.
Yeah.
The people in your corner. You are the 5 people you hang out with the most. And so, like, when you put that into scope and put it into perspective, like, if the people you're living life with, if they're not hungry, you're not going to be hungry.
Yeah.
And on the backside of that, because you're not hungry, you don't know there's more.
Yeah.
And so, like, when you don't know there's more, you won't be hungry for more. And so it's important, yeah. So, like,
also one of the things I love about Tyler Feller, if you need someone to challenge your faith, Tyler Feller's that guy. Like, I remember when we took Jet up there. Yeah, I did. I got it.
I know, watch your eyes.
When we took Jet up there, Jet was saying, so I don't remember what Jet was talking about. And Tyler called him out immediately and was like, well, maybe God put you there so you could be the light in that place. And so,
yeah,
just having people that are going to push you further. And you got to be able to take it too. Like, some of those conversations can get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And we've had some uncomfortable conversations sometimes. We should never do over text messages because we're not good.
Text messages is bad.
But, like, we have those conversations and we're not scared to have those conversations with each other. Even if we know it's going to make one of us mad, we also understand, like, I know if you're going to tell me something I don't like, it's going to be to help me grow. It's out of love. It's not like you want to put me down or you think, whatever. Your goal is, hey, Aaron, let me push you forward And sometimes we have to have these conversations.
Yeah. One of the things, this last thing, then we'll move on. One of the things that I think about a lot, actually, is when I lost that train of thought, actually. I looked down and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to go forward. But that's okay.
All right.
I'll remind her later. Okay, so next one we got, what we got? This is Bourbon Maple Reaper.
That sounds terrible.
Sounds not cool.
We had sin, then reaper, so now we're not going the right way.
It says, picture this, waves of fiery Carolina Reaper, rounded with delicious smoky Mexican mortilla chilies.
Sure.
Okay.
What's the skulls on this bad
The
boy?
skull veil, so last one, this one was 52.
Yep.
And now we're at, what's this one called?
Bourbon something? It's not on there. Oh, yes, it is.
This is it right here, 73,000. So not that big of a jump, you know?
But I can already see our next one.
Yeah, we're just gonna go for it.
Okay, cool. I'm glad you decided not to jump so crazy, but this one I smelled and I didn't like the smell of it. I don't really like the taste of it either.
Okay.
But honestly, it's kind of about,
It's honestly not hot, unless it's about to like do a slow build. This is really,
it's okay.
I'm going in for, like, I'm gonna finish it.
Yeah, I just took it off.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I keep wiping my hands because if I touch my face, it's going to be hot.
Okay. Mapley. Okay, I lied, it's building up. Okay.
That one just is a slow.
It's a slow burn.
Still hot though.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's doing the thing,
yeah,
isn't it?
You got it.
It's like going maple syrup, touch of citrus. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Tangy, sweet, smoky, flavory. Oh, it literally says it cranks up into a fireball. I should have read the rest of the label.
Went through it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now we know.
Now you know. It literally says it builds into a fireball of heat that
Yeah, that one makes,
crazy.
making me sweat a little.
That's a little warm, dude. Okay. So earlier we talked about like how your life is sometimes really busy, right? And then we even talked about, oh, I almost touched my face. My nose is running a little bit.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm feeling the effects. Earlier you talked about how life can just get busy, right? And so can you take the time to explain, like really explain what it is when you prioritize, like not just, because I think there's a couple things I want to talk about, but we have to tame or train our appetite. I believe it's Paul that talks about you want meat, but you're still on baby food. Yeah. So I think we have to train our appetite. But then on the back side of that, what does it look like? Like, what does the eating look like? Does that make sense? Like, okay, how did you train your appetite? And then how did it build? And then what does the actual eating look like?
So when I first became a Christian, obviously praying was so weird to me.
Yeah.
But I remember when I decided, I'm going to really take this seriously. Like, I gave my heart to Jesus, but it was still like trying to understand everything, trying to go through everything. Like, it was whatever. But
she's the worst, dude.
Your wife needs to grow up.
I have to cut that out.
Oh, yeah, because it does it even if you pin it.
Dude, I just want to hide alerts.
Okay. We can cut that out. But, when I decided I was going to take it serious, because the first 2 years, like, I was wanting it so bad, but it was just a lot going on. But when I decided, I'm going to take this serious, God, I remember at 9 o'clock every night, I had an alarm set on my phone. I'd go out to my truck, not have music playing, not have even the truck started, and I'd sit out there and pray. And, I'll be honest, dude, the first, 4 times I did it, I was like, all right, Lord, I feel like a crazy person sitting out here talking in my truck. Something must be wrong with me. But, dude, I started doing that. Like I said, for the first month, maybe, nothing really happened. It wasn't exciting. God really didn't do a whole lot in that. Maybe I think he was just testing to see if I'd keep doing it. But I kept doing it for, I did that for 8 months. And by the end of it, like, I really got so much fruitfulness out of that, and I feel like God really started speaking to me. And so like just continuing, like having that time set apart, and like sometimes that's difficult because we are going to all these kids' sports events and we're traveling all over the place doing all these different things, and so like it's hard to take 15 minutes at the same time every day because our schedules never stay the same.
Yeah.
And so, but always making sure that time stays, like even if you can't do 9 o'clock every night, but keeping that time is what I started to do. I have to spend this much time. Not maybe I have to, but I want to. Like I'm going to make it a priority to do it.
Yeah.
And so I just started doing that. And I think when you talk about meat, like I think we talk a lot of times like when you come to church, if church is the only food that you're getting from the gospel and getting closer to Jesus, like you are kind of that baby, you're getting fed. But feeding, I think, is a lot of times, reading scripture for yourself, like spending that time in scripture, trying to understand it, researching, okay, what's the context of what Paul's talking about here? What's going on in Paul's time right now? And so you have all that going on, and then praying. Like, you got to take time to pray to God. You have to take time to pray. Like, if you're not talking to God, then what are you really doing? Like, you're called a Christian, following Christ. How are you going to follow someone that you're not even going to talk to?
Yeah.
And so I think really, in doing those two things is really the meat of it, is because God's the one that gives you the meat.
Yeah. Earlier, you talked about one of my favorite things that Dwight talks about all the time is if you don't make the time, you'll never find it.
Yep.
And so, like, there is an importance, like, and that's what the world wants us to think, like, all these things are so important that you don't have time to read your Bible, you don't have time to pray, you don't have time to spend with friends. One of the biggest things that I think modern day Christians really, really drop the ball on is fellowship.
Yeah.
It's so important. Like, if you look in Acts, if you look at the gospel, like, Jesus spent his life
With people.
dedicated with people, and far too often we try to do these things alone. Like, we'll come into a season or whatever and we'll try to be quiet about it, or like, and not necessarily that we want people's pity by talking about it, but Jesus,
You gotta have people close.
the perfect one, the one that lived no sin, did no sin, the perfect one, he did life with 12 people.
Yeah.
We're going to need people in our lives. And then one of the things I wanted to touch on was you did that transition from, like, really it just comes like the transition from milk to solids, if you will, if you'll use that a baby analogy. That transition, I think, comes out of time spent with the Lord.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you agree?
Once you spend the time with him and you start seeing him move, and you start seeing him do things in your life and your people's life that you're praying about, and you're seeing him move, and you hear him talk to you, recognize his voice, like that builds a hunger because it's the God of the universe,
right?
And he's listening to you, and you're having a conversation with the God of the universe. And so when you do those things and you really give God the time, we're gonna stay hungry. You're gonna want more because it's him. Like, you can't ever get enough. There's always more to him.
Yeah.
And so when you do that, when you start at the baby stage and you start on your own, you start really seeking God out, by the end of it, like, or not the end because it's going to keep going to, go to heaven, but through that journey, the more closer you get to him, the more, it's crazy, that the more you get of him, the more you want.
Yeah. What's his name?
Christian.
No, close. I think it's
Bob Barker.
Michael Koulianos or something like that.
Sure.
He talks about the deeper you go, the less you take.
It's very good.
And it's so true, because the more you know him, the less of these things seem important.
Yeah.
Journey has been long. Just came from the Bourbon Maple Reaper, which is 73,000 Scoville units. And now we have the bomb.
I need a beer of these. I can tell you that right now.
And it's not cool. Red hot chilies have evolved. Sauce design has changed in tandem. Yada, yada, yada. This is our evolution, a more sophisticated the bomb.
I don't like that.
Brutal heat for some of the hottest peppers known to man. This is the first one with the warning label.
I don't like this.
This sauce is extremely hot. Keep out of reach of children. Consume 1 drop at a time with extreme caution.
I'm gonna let you know right now. We got more than a drop on these.
Let's see what peppers are in it. Red hot chili peppers. Dude, I smell it.
I know, it's so strong.
Oh, it's got cane sugar in it.
I don't even care about that. I just want you to know I'm eating this one whole.
Really?
I'm just gonna die.
Made in the USA. Okay.
US hates us. All right, here goes the bomb.
God, are you serious? Just
Nope, I already know it.
I hate you. I really do.
You asked me to
No.
do this. You asked me. I want you to know this is worse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're gonna make it the last one.
Bro.
What's bad is it's not that fast. Like it doesn't hit you, then it comes all at once.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
literally like a bomb. It's,
I don't care.
dude, I'm drinking milk. That bad boy will bring tears to your eyes. It's the worst. Why'd you come up with this?
Okay. How do you? No, hold on. Because I was sore already from these, you know?
Yep. Yep, it's made it worse. Oh, man. That's hot. That's real hot.
How do you prioritize? In the midst of your business? Oh my gosh, I can't even think, dude.
One question.
Okay, just let me think about it. 5, I think.
Yeah, disciplines.
Oh yeah.
This heat got you all messed
Yeah,
up.
I'm all messed up. Are there any specific disciplines that you do that help you remain focused on staying hungry? I know we talked about like your time spent, but like I want to know the specific disciplines that have helped you progress your hunger.
Well, I think always setting that time aside. Like, I think we talk about this a lot. There's always an excuse not to do it. You know, ball games, kids being crazy,
Yeah.
out late. We do a lot of things with youth kids, sporting events, whatever events we do. And so like always making sure we have a set amount of time. Like it doesn't have to be the same time every day, but it does have to be something. And not come an excuse to say, you know what, I'm gonna put it off till tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think the world wants us to think it's not that important if we miss one day.
Yeah.
But we have to build godly habits. And so like those godly habits are putting that aside, you know, and then having people that are going to lead you in the right direction. Like if I text you or if we're talking, I'm like, man, I really don't feel like reading my Bible today.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I'll probably call you and be like, hey dude, when you get off work, let's either go for lunch or not have hot wings, but let's go do something
Not hot wings.
where we can read the Bible together.
Yeah.
Because we're in it together.
Yeah. And I know we've talked about it a lot, and it seems so simple that you're reading and praying and having the right people around you and making the time. Like it seems so simple, but that's literally what being a Christian is, spending those daily time with God. You're a follower of Christ, so like you have to follow him. Like if you're not choosing to do that every day.
Yeah.
Paul says we got to pick up our cross.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. Like, read, prayer. They seem so rudimental,
Yeah.
but they're not.
Yeah.
They're literally the bones. And like through prayer and reading your word, it's like the tree.
Yeah.
It's like the tree that's planted next to the stream, right? In Psalms.
Yeah.
that tree thrives because it's plugged in to the living stream. And that's Jesus. Like, he's the Word. He's the truth. He's the embodiment of the Word. And so when we don't do these things like pray, read our Bibles, these daily disciplines, we begin to stray away from the stream. And like, I think about stagnant water.
Yeah.
How does it become stagnant? Well, somewhere along its way, it's got too far away from the stream. And when it doesn't have the living, moving water no longer flowing in it, it becomes stagnant. Bacteria starts to grow. It can no longer hold life. Like fish won't even stay in stagnant water because it's lost its life. And so like, it's literally us walking away, straying away from the stream.
Yeah.
But by these daily disciplines,
we stay connected.
we stay plugged in. And like on the topic of stagnant water, when we start to stray away, we find our excuses that started here because like, life does happen.
Yeah.
I think Dwight says it takes 21 days to make a habit. It takes 3 days to ruin a habit.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Dwight's awesome. He has all kinds of good things to say. But so we have one crazy day, right? Whatever happens, we had a crazy day. Okay. Maybe we're still in the stream. The second day, another crazy day. Third day, not so crazy, but we're already building on this line of excuses, and so we miss 3 days of reading and praying. Now we start to separate. And when we start to separate, our excuses become more acceptable because we're pulling ourselves further away from the truth.
Yeah.
And like, we forget what his presence feels like. Or maybe we don't forget, but we don't pay attention to what his presence is and how he's talking to us, how he's speaking to us. And so it's such a slippery slope. And that's why daily disciplines are so important.
Even if we're talking about you're missing that the first day, even with the crazy day, you can't tell me you can't lose 10 minutes of sleep to spend that time with God. In reality of it, I know sometimes we don't like to hear that, but in reality of it is, even with a crazy day, there's points in your day that you have the opportunity to spend time with Christ. You choose not to. Yeah. And sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow, as like, the blames aren't us, but it really is what it comes down to. We choose not to because we have the opportunity to, but we choose the world, TV, the craziness that's going on with kids, whatever's going on. But even at night, you can lose 15 minutes of sleep, spend time with Christ, and then don't miss it, and then get back on your regular schedule. But you're not missing, because he should be a priority. In that crazy day, you're going out of your way to make sure A, B, and C get done, right? Why is he not your A? Yeah. He should be one of the things that, no matter what's going on in your life, he should have the priority. I remember, so when you first started going to church, I don't even know if you remember this. When you first started coming, you were missing here and there for whatever reasons. Probably legit reasons.
Probably laziness, really.
There's no telling. And I remember we had a conversation one time, and I told you, I was like, you got to be here, dude. And I know church ain't going to send you to heaven. I know that. But church gets you around people that can help lead you to Christ on a weekly basis. And then a lot of times, like, I find so many people that I would have not been friends with if I didn't come to church, but I came to church. I think of Jake Jackson all the time. We went to school together. He's a grade older than me. Never talked one time, I don't think. We came to church together, and he lives in Springfield now. We still call and talk, still text every once in a while. But we built that relationship through Christ because he decided to come here. Mm-hmm. And so, like, being there, so you have someone you can plug into. He knows if he needs someone to pray for him, he's going to text me, And so he got plugged in by being at a church. And like I said, not all churches are perfect. No church is perfect. But I feel like getting plugged into a church helps you stay attached to that stream because you're around people that think like you do. Yeah. You said going to church can't take you to heaven. It won't send you to heaven, yeah.
Won't send you to heaven. But not going to church can send you to hell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. And Paul talks about how we're parts of the body.
Yep.
You can't look at the foot and say, I don't need you. Or he talks about you can't cut an arm off and expect that arm to live away from the body. Yeah. So like, we are parts of the body. We need to be plugged in. Yep. Like with M7, one of my biggest hearts behind M7 is the 98% that we don't see each other.
Yeah.
Outside these walls, we're still a part of the same body, and we need to stay connected. Dude, that sauce got me all jacked up.
The bomb is
It's a bomb.
It's a bomb.
It's a literal bomb that just goes off in my mouth.
I'll be honest with you.
I'm not looking forward to this last dab.
I kind of want to cry right now. Even before we even, like, just the smell of it makes... I know it doesn't taste good. I can tell you there's no way that tastes
It
good.
can't taste good. The heat level is 11 out of 10.
I don't like that.
All right, so we
died
got...
off that.
This is the last dab. It's the bomb, what we just ate,
Yep.
135,600 Scoville units. What we're about to eat is 2,693,000 Scoville units.
Dude, that's so bad. I want to eat it all, but I also don't want to die.
91% of this sauce is pepper X, which is the world's hottest pepper.
I don't like some of that.
It was genetically made in a lab.
First off, you're supposed to be wanting me to eat this. You're making it worse.
I know.
All right, what's it say on there? Is there a
Part of
warning?
this is like me telling you, but part of this is also telling me.
Is there a warning on there telling us?
Oh no, this is not good.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
This is the experience, the most extreme version of the last dab sauce we've ever made. Main ingredient, pepper X, is officially the world's hottest chili, and we've pushed it to the max. Add a dab to your favorite, a dab.
How much did you add?
That whole thing is coated. So, Hot Ones interview series, progressively hotter wings. So it says pepper X. Literally says pepper X powder, pepper X extract, pepper X distillate.
Okay. Are we doing this?
I'm so scared.
I'm not eating the whole thing.
I'm not. I'm taking a bite.
After you just named all of that off.
I'm taking a bite.
Are we taking a half a bite? Are we taking just a...
I'm taking a bite.
What's a bite?
Like, I'm taking that corner because I'm a sissy.
All right, let's go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mmm.
Is it slow?
Mmm.
I don't think it's as bad yet just because I freaking...
But it's building. I feel it in my chest right now.
It feels like a little pain.
Like, I don't know if that's anxiety.
Just like building up because we don't want it.
I'm not going to drink it yet until it gets hot. I'm going to quickly ask this question because I feel it building. Okay.
Oh, that's hot.
Yeah.
Hurry up.
Can you share a recent example of how your hunger for the Lord has impacted your actions, your decisions, and your interactions with others?
But I think the immediate decision that's been changed is, I don't manage 3 companies anymore. And one of the 2 biggest factors, one obviously was my family. They sacrificed. But 2, I was thinking, God's wanting me to do these things with teenagers, and God's really wanting to use me in some of these things. And we've seen God been opening up doors lately we've been praying about for years. And so that's one of the biggest impacts is like, I decided, I'm going to chase what God wants me to do. The money and all that's awesome, but I really want to do what God's called me to do. And so that's one of the biggest actions I think have changed. And just the way I think about things when it comes to that, it's getting hot.
I know, it's just like...
gradually going. But just like that, dude, like just having...
How has that affected your relationship with your wife? How has it affected your relationship with your kids?
Yeah.
Like,
dude, I remember
your personal...
So my first week of me not doing all the craziness, like the 5th day I came home, I was beating my wife and kids home, and Archer said, "Mom, how does he keep doing that?" And my wife's like, "Keep doing what?" "Keeps beating us home." the fact that he noticed within 3 or 4 days that I was being home before he was, and I never was before, that immediate impact tells you right there, they notice. Little kids notice way more than you think. But just my wife tells me all the time, when we talk about different job opportunities or different things now, it's like, well, you can do it, but I don't want to lose you. It's been a blessing to have you at home helping me with everything. And so like impact on them has been almost, I feel like, immediate. Like they see the difference. And most of Axel's life has been a single parent kind of, you know what I mean? Like I've had to travel and do all these things to make sure we could pay for bills, and she had to parent by herself. Oh, it's hot. But like that's been a blessing to me personally, because I like being a father. I love being a father. I love being a husband. Like I love these things. And so to actually now get to do those things and help out and do whatever has been super impactful. And I feel like the youth kids have noticed. If my house isn't full of teenagers on weekends, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
And I mean, you speak from, you could probably even speak on this better than I can, because you're on the outside looking in and you know more about my life than almost anybody. But I feel like that's one of the biggest things is like me being there, being present, and not just, even when I was home, I was so tired and wore out mentally and physically, like I wasn't really there.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's one of the biggest things on that.
I'm so glad you took a drink, dude. I wasn't going to take a drink until you took a drink.
But just like, what was the other one? Actions, decisions?
Actions, decisions, and interactions with others.
One of the things with interaction with others, because I've been coming here for almost 10 years now. And I think it's 10 years next